All right, welcome to episode number 73 of the Let's Discuss Gaming podcast. I am your host, Triple J. Joining me is my co-host, Dr. Games101.
What's up, guys? Let's do this.
Yep, let's jump into gaming news and talk about what's happened over the last couple of weeks in the news.
Yeah, the Activision Blizzard thing is still going on to this day, and it's ridiculous. I mean, I heard good things about it, actually done bad things about it. So,
All right, well, we'll get to that in time.
Definitely.
The first story up. Atari announces speed-based platformer Mr. Run and Jump. Atari has announced a new action platforming game called Mr. Run and Jump, which promises to be a speedrunner's delight. With lush neon graphics and reflex-based platforming stages, the game promises fast-paced and frenetic action for fans of the high-speed, tight-controlling entries of the genre. As Mr. Run and Jump, you explore the realms of color on a quest to defeat Void and find the hero's missing dog, Leap. The title was originally created as a homebrew title for Atari 2600 in 2021, but a modernized version is now being released by developers Graphite Lab and Heavy Horse Games through official means. If this sounds up your alley, you can check out the announcement trailer below. Mr. Run and Jump offers dozens of unique levels across 6 different worlds, as well as several enemies with distinct attack patterns and personalities. According to Atari, the title offers more than 30 hours of gameplay when you take into account time trials, collectibles, and achievements. Mr. Run and Jump arrives on PS5, Xbox Series, PS4, Xbox One, Switch, PC, and Atari VCS later this year. For more on one of the Atari's most recent successes, check out a review of Atari 50, the Anniversary Collection. So, is Mr. Run and Jump a game that you think you would want to check out when it hits Xbox One?
Well, Mr. Run and Jump I never heard of if it's actual reality until earlier this week when we discussed it in our pre-show planning. Of course, I heard of the Jumpman from like 1970s with being in Mario and all. So hopefully, there's like a partial sequel or a spiritual sequel to this game. From the Donkey Kong games, I hope. Because Mr. Jumpman was called back in the 1970s, now it's called Mario for the last 40 years now, so I might see a connection here and there, hopefully. Is there a trailer by chance, Mr. Run and Jump, or they still haven't shown any trailers yet?
They have a launch trailer. I'm not sure how much it'll show, but I could play the trailer and see what they show in the trailer.
If you have time for that, it's up to you.
Yeah, I have it pulled up, so I'll show it now.
Oh, perfect, great.
All right, here it's playing now.
Sure thing.
All right, here it's playing now.
Sure thing. Wow. Very retro it is.
Yeah.
Reminds you that the hardest level difficulty of Mario back in many years ago was someone very retro it is.
Yeah. Looks kind of like some. It kind of looks like one of the like AVGN adventures.
Right. Definitely.
Kind of like.
I'm ever making too many years ago.
One of the like AVGN adventures.
Right. Definitely. I'm ever making too many.
Yeah, speedrunners are going to have a ball trying to beat this as fast as they can.
I definitely get a copy of this.
Yeah, definitely. Not if it's $60 or $70. Not if it's $60 or $70 though.
Get a copy of this. They'd be crazy to do that shit. Make sell it for $70. I'm like, that's crazy right there. Hopefully, it's sold for no more than $25, $30. You know.
Yeah, at the most.
And it's 15. You know.
Yeah, if it's like $10, $15, I'll definitely get it on Xbox One. It's going to be available on base Xbox One and PS4, so you're not going to need to. If you haven't upgraded yet, you're not going to need to upgrade. But yeah, this game looks like it's going to be a lot of fun. And it also doesn't look like it's going to be as it kind of reminds me of Celeste on Xbox One.
Right.
But the problem with Celeste was I was racking my brain trying to figure out how to get past like the first world, and I couldn't do it. This looks like it's straightforward. It's just trial and error. There's nothing you have to rack your brain about.
Yeah, it's like Miss Explosion Man or Explosion Man from the years 2014 and 2012, 2010, because those, I know, I'm not saying it's exactly the same gameplay, of course, but based on the mechanics and all, it was like a platforming game. So it's gonna feel like a refresher to me when I play these games again with Mr. Jumpman and all. So it's looks good for now.
Yeah, so so if this interested you, keep an eye out for Mr. Run and Jump.
Do you know when will come out?
They didn't say. They just said this consoles it would be out for.
Okay, and Atari's not making their own consoles anytime soon, as far as like officially speaking, right? Other than like,
Well, they do have. They did say the Atari VCS, which is which I think is their like. I guess it's kind of a console, but yeah, they just said it comes out later this year.
I see. Okay. All right, I'll take that consideration to add it to my wish list. It's on Xbox One especially, so that's a good thing.
Yeah. Ready to move on?
Yeah, I'm ready.
All right. Next. Let me get rid of this. Hollow Knight Silk Song delayed. Team Cherry has delayed Hollow Knight Silk Song. The last we heard, Silk Song was due out in the first half of 2023, but last night Team Cherry delayed the game without offering up a new window. We had planned to release in the first half of 2023, but development is still continuing. Team Cherry marketing and publishing spokesperson Matthew Griffin wrote on Twitter, "We're excited by how the game is shaping up, and it's gotten quite big, so we want to take the time to make the game as good as we can. Expect more details from us once we get closer to release." As you can see, it's clear Silk Song won't be released in the first half of 2023 as originally planned, but there's no word or indication of what the game's new release date is. Team Cherry put its first game, Hollow Knight, in 2017, put out its first game, Hollow Knight, in 2017, and it was extremely well received. While the game received several free DLCs, the audio was also working on a larger expansion of paid DLC starring Hornet from the game. In 2019, the team announced that this DLC had expanded massively in scope to the point it now be a full sequel game called Hollow Knight Silk Song. Since then, fans of the first Hollow Knight have wondered when they'd be able to play Silk Song. While waiting to learn more, read Game Informer's Hollow Knight review, and then read about why Silk Song is one of our most anticipated upcoming games. Are you excited for Hollow Knight Silk Song?
That would be interesting to play that game as well. Unfortunately, I never played the first Hollow Knight game that came out back in 2014, 2015. I also forgot about playing Undertale until the other month or two ago, earlier this year. So I saw good things about the original Hollow Knight game that came out. And you know what's so funny too about the original Hollow Knight game? I thought it was an actual remake or a re-edit of an original game from the 1990s, but it was actually an actual game from the 2014, 2015 year. So that surprised me right there. So if with today's current technology and make it the best graphics, especially what's going on Unreal Engine 5 and all, I can't imagine what can they do for this second Hollow Knight game. And by looking at this, the second Hollow Knight game, they can turn this into a 2.5D style graphics gameplay, like that Explosion Man I mentioned earlier. Explosion Man, Miss Explosion Man, especially Miss Explosion Man, has 2.5D graphics. It's kind of like playing like the background, the foreground, and the midground, side to side, up and down type of shit. So it looks good. The original's Hollow Knight and Miss Explosion Man. So if they can put those two together, that style of gameplay for the second Hollow Knight, that'll be absolute best, perfect.
All right, keep going.
No, I'm good. You can talk.
All right. I was going to say, I never played the first one. I don't really remember what the first one was like. But when you talk about 2.5D graphics, Batman the Brave and the Bold on a Nintendo Wii, that had 2.5D graphics. It was mostly side-scrolling, but you could reach platforms with Batman's grappling hook. So if the graphics are like that, then it sounds like Hollow Knight Silksong would be something I'd be interested in.
Oh yeah.
What do you remember about the first Hollow Knight game, if anything?
If I remember correctly, Hollow Knight is like a shovel knight. If I remember correctly, is am I correct?
I don't know. That's what I'm asking.
Well, I'm not trying to mix the two together of like two different gameplay or games experiences, but when I saw the trailer of Hollow Knight, I thought it was based on like doing shoveling gameplay, like you shovel for coins and other goodies and loot and stuff like that. While you're jumping
Yeah,
people's heads and stuff like that, of Mario and stuff. So,
yeah. You sounds about correct.
but then
Because I
again,
pulled up
but then again,
because I'm
there's a 2017 Hollow Knight that I played the other year or two, or the other month or two earlier this year, where it involves like using a pickaxe or like a like a nail filer or something that was very sharp, and you hit your opponents with it. If you're referring to that Hollow Knight, so
Yeah, I'm looking at the website now. Their description on Google starts off, it's a challenging 2D action adventure. You explore caverns, battle tainted creatures, and escape intricate traps. Yeah, so I'm guessing Silk Song will be kind of the same.
very similar by the sound of things. I heard about a second Hollow Knight coming out for the last several months now, especially with the previews by Xbox and stuff like that. So it's I played the first Hollow Knight. Definitely did play that. I've recorded myself playing it the other month or two earlier this year, not late last year, and it looked good. Unfortunately, after the first hour or two of playing the Hollow Knight, I'm kind of stuck in the middle of like between like the first world is called. I think it was called. I forgot the actual name of it, but basically, I'm stuck between like um, using the huge monster to transfer between different parts of the underground area, and I don't know where else to start to go to unless if I go after the boss myself right away, which I don't want to because I'm not experienced enough to go up against the boss yet. So or the first boss.
Okay.
So
Yeah, it's let's see. It's a Metroidvania game developed published by Team Cherry. Player controls the Knight, a nameless insectoid warrior who explores Hollownest, a fallen kingdom plagued by a supernatural disease known as the Infection. The game is set in diverse subterranean locations featuring friendly and hostile insectoid characters and numerous bosses. Players have the opportunity to unlock new abilities as they explore each location, along with pieces of lore and flavor text that are spread throughout the kingdom. That's the first paragraph on Wikipedia.
it sounds very true because basically the main character you play, you're basically trying to look for clues and defeat enemies, especially bosses, in order to proceed further and collect these kind of coins. And I had at least 200 coins with me, but I lost it in my last mini boss fight. So I had to start all over again with those coins. I was like, damn it! That took me like a good 30 minutes to get all those coins too.
Yeah, it sounds like something that would be up my alley. It's the only problem I have with Metroidvania games named after Metroid is sometimes you don't know where to go in those games.
Yeah, that's the stuff that's what got stuck too. Like I said, so it's kind of like you have to find your way around the underground area.
Yeah, but I mean, if you were looking forward to Silk Song, unfortunately, it's delayed. They didn't announce when it's the sequels about should be coming out. Um, but yeah, these are other games that I just happen to miss out on. I happen to miss out on the Hollow Knight, the first game,
Yeah, it was a
which
big
was
game.
also the first game of the developer team, Team Cherry.
I see.
So yeah,
It
Silk
was a
Song's
big game.
delayed.
It was a big game
Uh,
back 5 years ago.
yeah, in 2017 when it came out. Well, 2017. That's the year I moved. So, um, yeah. So apparently, yeah, the sequel's delayed. We just don't know when it's going to come out. They don't know when it's going to come out. Again,
Of
when
course.
the sequel's going to come out. Ready to move on?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Or
I'm ready.
all
Let's
right,
do this.
all right. Next, Dogna, a beautiful watercolor adventure game, gets June release date. Dogna, a lovely watercolor indie adventure game that's been in works for a few years, is finally arriving on June 13th. The story follows Mimi, a young woman who returns to her departed grandmother's countryside cottage in the real-life French region of Dordogne to uncover family secrets. Her return triggers a flood of childhood memories, which players relive in flashbacks as a child version of Mimi. Gameplay involves exploring the cottage, taking pictures, and collecting keepsakes while witnessing the bond between Mimi and her grandmother and learning how these nostalgic experiences connect to the present. Check out the game's new trailer below as the game looks even prettier in motion. Dordogna comes from developers Animation and Onji ni Seisqui, and will be available on PS5, Xbox Series, PS4, Xbox One, Switch, and PC. Do you want me to play the trailer?
It's up to you. Yeah, why not?
All right. Here it goes. It's playing now.
When I think back to my childhood, everything becomes blurry. I know I used to go to my grandma's house in Dordogne each summer.
We'll have fun, the two of us.
But these memories have faded and lost their color.
This is... wow.
My escapades along the river.
This place is awesome.
The discovery of incredible treasures. The people. The smell of breakfast in the early morning.
And you haven't seen anything yet.
Gone.
Grandma?
This place is a very special place.
All I remember is that I miss.
Okay.
Interesting.
More like it kind of is like it raises more questions than answers. It really didn't give too much. The article gave more about what the gameplay is going to be like than this trailer did.
Right. But it's, like I said, it's based on a watercolor style type of gameplay, like that of not exactly similar setting, but Memoir Blue played its role in doing like visual effects and artwork style type of effects of the unsaid story between the young swimmer and her mother and all, because how they bonded and her father got separated from each other and stuff like that. So it's a similar situation with this Dogny, if I thought dog name, I should say. It looks good. I mean, it may not be my first ever experience playing this game, but at the same time, it's like other games like, what's it called? Memoir Blue, Beyond Ice, perhaps Albert, what's it? The Adventures of Fitch, if I remember correctly.
What Remains of Edith Finch? I was thinking of that game while watching the trailer.
Yeah,
as a matter of fact,
basically, it's like a family-oriented, like for kind of like for children, but also for family style type of game playing. So you play with like your son or daughter, or perhaps a niece or nephew, and that's about it. Really, that's the experience where it's going to set at. But if it's by yourself playing it, as an adult gamer, you're so used to first-person shooters and blood and guts and violence and all. It's like it's a good break from all that, and just to understand the wholesomeness of certain stories in your life, even if it is fictional, like that of Dogny, or
yeah, I think I'm surprised you brought up What Remains of Edith Finch. I was going to bring it up, but yeah, I think the storytelling is going to be the same because, like, in Dordogne, this girl's trying to remember the time she spent with her grandmother and like the places they went and stuff and the people that they met. And in What Remains of Edith Finch, you were basically learning about this woman's family and like basically the dark cloud that hung over the entire family tree. So yes, I think it's gonna be similar story wise.
It's a story-based game by looks of things.
Yeah, but it's going to have a good story to definitely be worth spending a lot of time on.
Yeah,
But
go on.
we'll find out. It comes out June 13th, so just in less than like 3 weeks.
Yeah, I hope it doesn't cost no more than $20. I'm willing to pay like $15 for on sale for later this year for the summertime, because obviously summer is almost here next month or not even a month from now, and by that time they're gonna have summer sales Xbox. So hopefully they'll put it on sale for $5, hopefully $7 off. This if ever if they listening to us.
Yeah.
but
So we'll
but I just
so we'll see.
I like to say this though that if it's similar to Memoir Blue, then I'm going to have an interesting experience because I did play Memoir Blue and record myself playing it earlier this year, and it's my only time playing that big game so far. Um, I mean, it gives me the chills, it gives me the pleasures, the sound effects, stuff like that, because it's almost like you're actually immersed in the action. But after a while, it starts to lose its luster. After a while, after an hour or two, it's like, you kind of like want to move on to something else. So hopefully, Dog
Yeah.
will keep that sense of interest over the next, God knows how long the gameplay it is, and we'll take it from there.
Yeah. So we'll see what this game has to offer in the next in the 3 weeks when it comes out. Door Dog Day.
Oh yeah.
Uh, Ready to move on?
Okay, I'm ready.
All right. Next, let me open this. Hold on. Get rid of that. Ubisoft confirms 60 people could lose their jobs. Ubisoft's customer relations center team is undergoing a shakeup. Ubisoft has confirmed a round of layoffs for team members in the United States and the United Kingdom. The company said in an emailed statement that 60 staffers from the company's office in Cary, North Carolina, and Newcastle in the UK could be impacted due to organizational changes. The cuts are coming from Ubisoft's customer relations center team. The group is evolving its organization to focus on where we can have a significant impact while remaining steadfast in our commitment to consistently support our players anywhere in the world, Ubisoft said. As a result of organizational changes, 60 staffers could be impacted. One affected employee is Matthew Hayes, who wrote on Twitter that Ubisoft did not provide notice about the cuts. Matthew Hayes wrote, I and about 60 other amazing people were laid off today with no notice. I'm divorced, living alone with a mortgage, and have a daughter who I love and support. So if any of you have any leads, please reach out. Thank you so much. The announcement of this change and the staffing reductions comes just ahead of Ubisoft's next earnings briefing on May 16th, where it will report its full year business results. Layoffs at video game studios and across the technology sector have been a frequent occurrence in recent months. Game engine company Unity just laid off 600 people. Take-Two eliminated a number of positions, and Xbox cut jobs at Halo developer 343 and elsewhere. Ubisoft's next big event is the Ubisoft Forward Showcase in June, where it's expected to discuss its upcoming games. So, what do you think of this layoff at Ubisoft?
Well, it was expected because they were losing money over the last several years. I don't have the exact amount of money or the exact details of the matter. I did keep track of it via a network with other gamers who are into researching this stuff in detail. And what they explained to me is that Ubisoft's been screwing around with the DRM and the secondary accounting of their products, so like Rayman or Child of Light, if I remember correctly, of these products. And they have Uplay, Ubisoft Plus, whatever it's called at the time, where you need like a secondary like DRM or some sort of secondary account in order to play the game online, even if it is single player games like Child of Light and Rayman Legends. So that's what's kind of like. I know it sounds very weird for that for them to play like that, but that's what they did for like the last 10 years of like certain games like that, like I just mentioned. So it's kind of like they fucked around and found out the hard way, and people are not buying their games like they used to because of all this DRM issuing or this secondary accounts where you need like a second confirmed account like that of Final Fantasy VII, or like if you play Final Fantasy VII on Steam or especially on Final Fantasy VII on Xbox One, you need like to sign up for the Square Enix account if I remember correctly. if I remember correctly, that is, which I don't remember exactly because I was too busy trying to play the game on the Xbox One at the time. So, um, but yeah, it's a kerfuffle like at the time, and they lost sales over the years, and now they have to cut back a few workers. So it was expected for them to do to cause an effect, of course. So hopefully they learn their lesson. Ubisoft and will reconfigure their stance on DRM and licensing to gamers because every time we buy the product or a copy of a game, usually is that we have a rights to license with the game, especially back in 20 years ago, where you keep the game, you own the game, you can do as you wish with the game. But for the last 10 years, at least, with Xbox One, Xbox One X, and stuff like that, they try to make people not have rights or ownership of their product. So that's why people hated that DRM stuff that was revealed back in 2013 before the release of the Xbox One console. I mean, PS4 didn't have this problem really. They were old school. They were like as scheduled, like you share whatever games you want for however you please. But Xbox One, of course, thanks to Ubisoft and other companies, that they got together and tried to pull this stunt. So.
Yeah. Also, speaking as a consumer, Assassin's Creed. I gotta say, the last Assassin's Creed game I really enjoyed all the way through was Syndicate. Assassin's Creed Odyssey, Assassin's Creed Valhalla, just not really that good. I enjoyed Assassin's Creed Syndicate, Assassin's Creed Rogue. I played those two all the way through.
That's good.
But I mean, or at least the main story all the way through.
I'm still saying about like 3% of Assassin's Creed Black Flag.
Black Flag, I actually got stuck on. I was a sneaking mission, and I spent an hour or two trying to get through that one mission, and every path I thought of ended up in failing the mission, and I just gave up on it. But that was also hours into the game, so it wasn't right at the beginning of the game either.
Right.
But yeah, I noticed the latest Assassin's Creed games also have not been as good as, like I said, my favorites like Rogue and Syndicate.
All the transactions and that DRM bullshit.
Yeah, so I mean, so I guess Ubisoft kind of dug their own grave. I mean, you mentioned Rayman Legends. I didn't run into that problem on the Wii U. I was able to play Rayman Legends as much as I wanted. Now, I got a physical copy of the game, so maybe that has something to do with it. But
yeah, I don't remember the details many years ago back when Xbox One came out. I didn't have the Xbox One until 2014 of Christmas Day. So whatever happened from 2013 to 2014, they kind of got rid of the DRM situation at first, and they creeped it back in over the years. And that's what we gamers online found out later on through researching this stuff. So it's console gaming, of course.
Yeah, I mean, when they first talked about the DRM, you were gonna have to, you weren't gonna be able to trade your games back to GameStop once you beat them or trade them with friends or anything. I just remember that it was a huge revolt, a huge mass exodus of people saying, "Screw you, Xbox, Sony, tell me more about the PS4." And then they said it felt like a few days, but some people say it was a couple of weeks. Later, that Xbox said, "Okay, we're not doing the DRM thing. You will be able to trade games with friends. You will be able to sell them back to GameStop."
Oh yeah, especially the fact that with the Xbox One, what they try to do is that even with the Xbox One's camera, the what's that called? The Kinect 2.0. That was a double whammy to their sales as well, because people don't want to be tracked in their homes with that camera. Because it was that detailed in seeing what you do in live terms. So
that's yes. Luckily, I don't have a Kinect, and if I did, I wouldn't have hooked it up anyway. So.
Oh yeah, definitely. Especially if it came with the Xbox One for free, I would not hook it up. I'll keep it for a reference, for the sake of showing people later on in life, this is what they try to spy us on over the years, But hell. But then again, Kinect was a dead experiment after the 360. I mean, it's like they tried it with the 360. And every Kinect game sucked. or that it's only if only be available for families only, like there's family related theme type of games for the 360s Kinect games.
Well, they tried it for Hulk Hogan's main event, and the game Kinect just didn't work. You had to play the game using Kinect, and the game just did not work. The game did not read your motions correctly.
Oh wow. Well, Kinect, we
Um,
know they can improve over the years, of course, with their system, but who wasn't really
but
Kinect? Yeah.
I think the damage was done by then.
Oh yeah. That, like I said, was a double whammy anyway. Like who wants to buy a Kinect 2.0 with the Xbox One at that time? And it had on the shelves for weeks, if not months, before the first year or two of the Xbox One sales being in on record. So people were buying
Yeah.
PS4s left and right more than Xbox One.
Yeah. Yeah, so I mean, it sucks. Ubisoft is losing. People at Ubisoft are losing their jobs. I know it's hard to get jobs. It took me just about a month and a half to find my job that I started about 10 days ago. So it's yeah. So I feel bad for the people that got laid off, but at the same time, I think the company kind of did this to itself.
Oh yeah, like the management or at least the executives in charge didn't care about the long term of their company at first. It was based about quick buck and also first thing controlling the content to their gamers that play their games. So they didn't thought about the workers at the bottom, like the regular entry level workers. And I personally myself, I feel their pain too. I've been from job to job, place to place when I was younger. Went for like 10 jobs in like 5 years because of the fact that whatever I performed, whatever I did and did not do, they never tell me or they never explain to me what I did wrong, and then I just basically lose money in the process. But luckily, thank goodness for the last several months, if not a couple of years now, I've been catching up with the gaming business and making money off of tournaments, stuff like that online and things that matter. So thank goodness for that kind of money. Even if it is not a lot of money, it's still enough to get me by. And also the fact that I paid into the system and stuff like that, so I reap the rewards now, so it's no big deal. But other than
Yeah.
that, if I were to go back to full time work, I hope to goodness that they'll train me properly, and then not just say like, oh, we have to lay you off after 2 weeks of work in there, because that's what happens to some of these workers. Like they like how can you just survive working 2 weeks of work and then lay them off afterward for no apparent reason other than the fact that they didn't perform well at the time. It's just it's ridiculous. So I congratulate the workers who are still stuck in the game industry after all these years to go back and forth in and out of work. Because it's very hard to keep a job these days for quite some time now. So
Yeah. Yeah. So I mean, yeah. So, but like I said, the higher ups, they're the ones who cause this, and unfortunately, it's always the lower on the totem pole that end up feeling the consequences.
and they get benefits like they get like reap the golden parachute at some of these companies too, especially if you want to lay off people workers.
Yeah. So, ready to move on?
Yeah, I'm ready.
All right. Next, PlayStation Plus game catalog expands with 23 more games this month. Ratchet and Clank, Rift Apart, Humanity, and the Tomb Raider reboot trilogy are some of the highlights for this month. The next batch of games for the PlayStation Plus game catalog has been announced, and for subscribers to the extra and premium tiers of the service, there's a lot to look forward to. These new games will be added on May 16th, and the big highlight here is another PlayStation first-party title, Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart, released on PS5 in 2021. This latest chapter in the Ratchet and Clank series is a multiversal adventure that looks great and is incredibly fun to play. The game also introduced the popular Rivet to the series, and as one of the early PS5 showcase titles, it's a great showcase of intergalactic action, stunning visuals, and a cool arsenal of weapons. The other big release for May is Humanity, which is best described as Lemmings, but with a Shiba Inu dog guide that has to work hard to prevent mobs of people from finding out how gravity works. This won't just be a PS5 and PS4 game, but also a PlayStation VR 2 game if you own the hardware. On the third-party side, Arcane's Dishonored, Death of the Outsider, and Dishonored 2 are being added to the game catalog. Each game is a showcase of distinctive design and out-of-the-box thinking, and are widely considered to be some of the best work from the developer alongside the original Dishonored and Deathloop. For fans of Lara Croft, the Tomb Raider reboot trilogy will also be available for download. This includes the 2013 reboot and its two sequels, Rise of the Tomb Raider and Shadow of the Tomb Raider. If you're after horror, you can grab The Evil Within 2 this month, and fans of authentic public transport can catch a ride with Bus Simulators 2 Next Stop. For a more cozy game to download, check out Story of Seasons, Friends of Mineral Town for some wholesome farming fun. PlayStation Plus Premium subscribers will have 4 games to enjoy this month, including Siphon Filter, Logan's Shadow, Blade Dancer, Lineage of Light, Pursuit Force, and a surprisingly great Ghostbusters, the video game remastered. Sure, Bill Murray is phoning in his performance here, but everyone else from the original Ghostbusters movie cast sounds terrific. As a reminder, the PlayStation Plus collection has been officially discontinued, but you can still grab this month's trio of PlayStation Plus games from May. This includes the racing game Grid Legends, the medieval multiplayer game Chivalry 2, and downhill cycling game Descenders. Okay, so what do you, any of these games that are being added, like a lot of them, are you interested in any of these games? Because I know plenty of them. Like they said, the Tomb Raider reboot trilogy is on here. Watch Dogs Legion's on here. A couple of the Dishonored games.
Yep. Because of the Dishonored and the Tomb Raider games, I already have Dishonored Definitive Edition, Dishonored 2 as part of the Game Pass last time I checked. For the Tomb Raider games, I already have all of the Tomb Raider games up to date, up to Tomb Raider Shadow Legends, or Tomb Raider Shadow is called, for the Steam library. So there was a special event where on Steam where you get all Tomb Raider games from Tomb Raider 1994-95 to Tomb Raider Shadow Tomb Raider, and that cost no more than $45 on with tax and all. So that was the best deal ever I got for those Tomb Raider games, and I can eventually play them over the years whenever I get a chance to get a better computer and all. So I'll have no worries to go for PlayStation's versions of these games. So to me, it's like, the other games, whatever on PlayStation coming out for this month, it's whatever to me. It's like, okay, if I have the PlayStation, I'll try to play them as part of the catalog. No problem.
Yeah, Ghostbusters, the video game, I never got to check that out. I think they're talking about the PS3 360 game. I never got to try that one out when it came out.
Siphon of that Ghostbusters, the 2009 game for the Xbox 360.
I think the boss was going to offer, let me try it out, but he's like, but if you want to get the humor, you'll have to watch the movie first, and he just never lent me the movie.
Right.
Siphon Filter, Logan's Shadow. I think I played a little bit of that on PSP.
Okay.
So that's that. Wolfenstein. I haven't played Youngblood. I played The Evil Within 2. I think like once. I forget which of the Tomb Raider games it was, but I did play the reboot when it came out on PS3, the first one.
Okay.
I played Dishonored 2. I got to like the second chapter. Yeah, so I mean, it's a huge collection of games, and I even tried out a few. So when they first came out, so yeah, if you're a PlayStation Plus Extra or Premium subscriber, yeah, these games are available. Anything else to add?
No, that's all for this topic.
Okay. All right. Moving on. Hold on. Okay. Mortal Kombat 12 will actually be a reboot called Mortal Kombat 1. Report. Mortal Kombat's clock is counting down to something. Update. Okay, I'll read the actual article, then I'll go back to the update. A new teaser for something related to Mortal Kombat has gone... wait a minute. Yeah. Okay. A new teaser for something related to Mortal Kombat has gone up, suggesting Mortal Kombat 12 news could be on the horizon. The video may even hint at the possibility of a reboot for the franchise, though details remain vague at this point. In the video posted on the official Mortal Kombat Twitter account, and also by Mortal Kombat co-creator Ed Boon, a clock can be seen counting down from 9 and up to 11. But once it gets to 12, the hour hand straight up skips that number and goes straight back to 1 on the clock. In the Mortal Kombat timeline, this actually makes sense, as that game ended with a big tease of a major reset. In case you haven't played through the story mode of the game yet, you can skip past the next 2 paragraphs if you want to avoid spoilers. I'll be reading them. 2019's Mortal Kombat 11 saw Kronika, the Elder God of Time, attempt to create a new reality. After various colonial shenanigans in the previous game, Kronika's attempt to rewrite history was ultimately foiled, and in the canon ending for the game and its aftermath expansion, Fire God Liu Kang takes control of Kronika's hourglass and uses it to forge a new era for the Mortal Kombat universe. After dealing with Shang Tsung once and for all, Kang succeeds in creating a new timeline, and he travels back in the past to meet and train Kung Lao's ancestor, the Great Kung Lao, for the Mortal Kombat tournament that lies ahead. This isn't the first tease of a new Mortal Kombat from developer NetherRealm, as the studio hit a potential hint at the game in a recent video celebrating 30 years of the franchise. During the Warner Bros. Q1 2023 earnings call, Warner Bros. Discovery's CEO, David Zaslav, also casually mentioned a new Mortal Kombat game that's aiming for a 2023 release date. There's no shortage of events that a new Mortal Kombat game could be announced, as the not E3 schedule for the next few months includes Summer Games Fest and Gamescom Opening Night Live. Fighting game fans are eating very well lately, as June will see the release of Street Fighter VI from Capcom, and development on Tekken 8 continues at Bandai Namco. Mortal Kombat could also be headed back to theaters soon, and it's rumored that Carl Urban could join the cast as Johnny Cage alongside other returning faces from the 2021 film. Now, this is the update. Following the most recent Mortal Kombat teaser suggesting some shenanigans around the usage of the numbers 12 and 1 for the next game's title, a new report has emerged that states the game will indeed be a reboot called Mortal Kombat 1. On Twitter, leaker Bilbai Kun claimed Mortal Kombat 1 is the official title and that it will launch for PS5, Xbox Series, Nintendo Switch, and PC. Windows Central subsequently reported the same details and that a reveal is scheduled for sometime in the next few weeks. So what do you think of Mortal Kombat? It seems like the next Mortal Kombat game is basically hitting the reset button.
They did that the second time. They did that for the first time back in 2000 and I believe 2005, 2006, around the time where Mortal Kombat Sub-Zero came out and stuff. So it's kind of like they repeated it once again, in a sense. So hopefully this will be the last time they'll do this for the Mortal Kombat franchise. I understand they want to keep continuing this franchise for as long as possible, but it's been 30 years now. They should have left it at Mortal Kombat 11. In my opinion, that is. Cause I haven't got a chance to play Mortal Kombat 11, I will admit that. And I played some of Mortal Kombat 10 for about a few minutes to an hour so far. Mortal Kombat 11, I just got it on sale yesterday or 2 days ago for about.
It's on Game Pass.
Yeah, it's also on sale for $9 to own.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so I got it for $9 on sale. Still on sale until like this week or next week, I believe. So
okay, yeah.
So it's kind of like, I'm willing to play Mortal Kombat 1 if I really want to, but, it's kind of like, they're repeating it over and over. It's like people like us, at least in our age group, us gamers who've been involved in Mortal Kombat since the beginning, come on, guys, like you gotta end it. You can't just keep continuing it over and over and resetting it over and over. It just doesn't make any sense after a while. I don't know what they're trying to do, but hopefully for the next couple of Mortal Kombats, they'll change it up a bit. Or at least end it. It's I know that shouldn't be a party pooper to Mortal Kombat 1 and all, but it's just that I've been seeing this for 30 years of Mortal Kombat, and I played the first three, and I owned the first three on Super Nintendo. I played Mortal Kombat 4. Played a little bit of Mortal Kombat. I believe it's called Sub-Zero. Then I played
Mythology Sub-Zero.
If I remember correctly, yeah.
I played that game. That game was awful.
Yeah, it's not all that great, and then they turned around with Mortal Kombat 10 all back in 2014. Now that was good. I played that played the story mode for the first couple of hours, and about an hour on the online versus tournament versus competitions. That was pretty good. Yeah, it's they did good for Mortal Kombat 10 and 11, especially Mortal Kombat 10. But after 11. It's kind of like gotta stop it to some point. They're doing the same thing over and over, like they did back 10 years ago, resetting the timeline. Liu Kang this, Kung Lao that. I'm like, come on, man, that's just getting boring after a while.
Yeah, I mean, Mortal Kombat. If I'm not mistaken, Mortal Kombat 11 was telling the story of Cassie Cage. I mean, it's almost like Mortal Kombat 11 was heading into the next generation, and now we got hit the reset button again.
I hope it gets different and better every single time for this time around. So
Yeah, because there was a Mortal Kombat game for Xbox. I forget the original Xbox and PS2. I forget which one it was. Um, I hated the story because like you would go to these different huts to like train, and like it had Mortal Kombat chess, which actually was my favorite. Um, and it was I forget the name. I can't. It wasn't a number entry. It was like it was a spin off. But anyway, yeah. So like, but I played Mortal Kombat 11. I played like the first hour of the story on stream one time.
okay,
Um, yeah. So it is. That is what it is.
okay,
But yeah. So apparently that's what's coming up with the next Mortal Kombat. It might not be. Not going to be 12. It's going to be one, and it's a reset.
okay.
Ready to move on?
Yeah, I'm ready.
All right. Next, Xbox Game Pass hurts sales, says dev behind Xbox Game Pass title. Somerville dev reveals how Xbox Game Pass hurt its sales. Dino Patty, the co-founder of Playdead and Jumpship, has revealed that Xbox Game Pass hurt the studio's sales for Somerville. According to an interview by Video Games SI, when Patty first founded Jumpship, the studio originally pitched the game to Google Stadia, but ended up partnering with Microsoft to have its game launch on Xbox Game Pass. In the interview, Patty states how the deal was good, but they also believe it may have hurt their sales by saying, I also think it hurts sales, because a lot of people just go in and try it, and they don't invest. If they don't like the first 10 minutes, that's it. Also, if you don't make the first 10 minutes amazing, maybe it's also a problem. I think Game Pass is okay. It's not my favorite. My favorite is the old premium model. When I sell you on some video on big images and earn your $30, and then after that, I have to deliver. I don't need to get money out of you later. This aligns with what was previously said about Xbox Game Pass potentially hurting sales for certain games, but that still hasn't stopped developers from working with Microsoft. Mike Rose, the founder of No More Robots, has told GameSpot that they've had games sell better when they're on or just leaving Game Pass, but at the same time, has also seen zero change in the sales they were getting before or after. Rose said the biggest problem with Xbox Game Pass eating sales is that it's difficult to tell how many copies of the game would sell on Xbox if it didn't launch on Game Pass. For more Microsoft news, check out our story on Microsoft workers not getting an annual pay bump and how Xbox hardware execs want to bring quick resume to Windows. So, what do you think about what this woman said about Xbox Game Pass hurting the sales for Somerville?
Well, they're not lying. Xbox Game Pass is like like a middle of the road type of selling point for Microsoft. Basically, it's a hit and miss. Like they'll have some people sign up for Game Pass for a few months at a time, and then they'll just unsubscribe for a few weeks, few months at most, and resubscribe back in. So it's kind of like a back and forth of like sales and other total sales going on with certain copies. Yes, Microsoft can't keep track of how many people download Game Pass games and how long they play them and such. They obviously we're connected to the internet all the times with the Xbox One and all. Some of us. So it's kind of like they can determine how much is being played, but in the end, they're not making as much money because everything's like a $10 a month, $15 a month subscription. So it's like they're making some kind of money, but it's not a lot. So they're telling the truth, these developers, and they can't get rid of Game Pass anytime soon because then people will not be able to afford $80, $70 games every single time. You know, like
Exactly.
I mean, obviously, yes, prices will go up over time due to inflation. And I know I'm no economic expert on the books on record, but that's how it is in the economy. If we want to keep increasing the inflation, the prices will go up no matter what. And especially over time, if it's not being like going through a crash and a boom and a bust. If it keeps going up and up, then things will go up and up. That's how it is. So I guess you could say the Game Pass system can still be in effect for now, but in the meantime, they have to encourage us gamers to say why should we pay an easy $70 for a game that's on the Game Pass for a few weeks at a time, a few months at a time, and then we can play that within a few hours, a few weeks, whatever. So it's just like a whatever at this point.
And at the same time, I think back to Life is Strange True Colors because I played that on Game Pass, and I was going to get the DLC until I heard how buggy and how bad it was.
Oh wow.
Yeah, I was Life is Strange True Colors. The base game was on Game Pass, but if you wanted to play Stephanie's story, you had to buy it as DLC. I wanted to see, I wanted to get people's opinions on it, and most of the people that had offered their opinion said that the DLC was buggy, the DLC didn't work. She never leaves the record store except in memories. So it was kind of like a bare bones Life is Strange game, which is why I ended up not getting the DLC. But the thing is, Tech Nine or whoever made Life is Strange, they would have gotten that money had I bought the DLC.
Oh yeah.
So I mean, I'm not saying that they can just focus on DLC. Obviously, they got to put a great game, out for people to enjoy first off. But at the same time, if you're going to Game Pass, that means you don't have the marketing, you don't have the outreach that like big game studios have. That's the whole reason you're going on Game Pass. We never saw. That's why that's why Rockstar games are not on Game Pass, because there's no need for them. They have the outreach, they have the promotion, they have the marketing to sell you Red Dead Redemption 2 or Grand Theft Auto 5 for $70.
And with the Game Pass,
if you're on Game Pass, that's because you're a small startup studio or even a studio of intermediate size, and you just don't have that connection with that many fans to make sure your game is going to be a success. That's why you were on Game Pass to begin with.
And sometimes when you're a Game Pass member, you get an extra 10% off on most games. So
20%.
Really, it's 20% right now.
It's 20%. It's been 20% as long as I read. Every time they say they're taking games off, they say, remember, you get 20% off the Xbox store.
Oh, that's even better. All right.
Yeah. So, and we're going to be reading about some games that are leaving Xbox Game Pass at the end of the month. Okay. Later.
No problem then.
Yeah, but I'm just saying. Yeah, I understand this woman's frustration at first, but no one forced her to sign the deal with Game Pass. No one forced her to sign the deal with Microsoft. That's why she signed the deal with Microsoft to get Game Pass. On one hand, and at the other hand, it's great for independent developers because Microsoft said they do pay for every game that's going to be on Game Pass.
Right.
They pay how much they pay each game developer for every game varies, but but they do try to make it worthwhile for an independent developer or a small developer to help their game get out there.
Right.
And I'm not saying they have to offer microtransactions. DLC would probably be best, but yeah, at the same time, like we said, if Somerville never got on Game Pass, how many people would have heard about it?
It'd be by word of mouth, and only a few people would know about it at best with word of mouth.
Yeah, that's so. I mean, I don't want to sound like I'm attacking this woman because she did say Game Pass is good. She's. I'm just saying, it's kind of a necessary evil at this point. I'll give her that. Yeah, I mean, on one hand, you do feel like it cannibalized sales, but at the same time, how many sales did it really cannibalize if your game would have never gotten out there had it never been on Game Pass?
It's just like the program that Xbox has been programming for years now called ID and Xbox. If she starts in that program, then they'll be put on the Game Pass games most likely with no problems for God knows how many months, if not years. And eventually, people will find out about that game, and then they'll get more sales or at least more cuts into this of these playable moments of the user's lifespan or user's membership span, you want to call it on the Game Pass. So that's how I look at it. Like, you gotta look at it from that angle too. So good thing.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, in the short term, it might hurt sales and might hurt profit, but in the long term, it's going to help if people enjoy the games you make.
Oh yeah.
That's the way I look at it. Anything else to add, or ready to move on?
I'm ready to move on.
All right. Next. Okay. Microsoft and Activision Blizzard face even more restrictions from UK regulators. The UK's Competition and Markets Authority says that Microsoft and Activision Blizzard will need to ask it for permission before either company acquires an interest in the other. Microsoft is facing even more regulatory hurdles after its plan to acquire Activision Blizzard was blocked in the UK over concerns about cloud gaming. The Competition and Markets Authority has added more restrictions to both companies, and in an interim order, it detailed how these measures were added for the purpose of preventing preemptive action from Microsoft and Activision Blizzard. According to the new restrictions, the two companies will need to secure prior written consent from the CMA if either company invests in the other's development studios, acquires an interest in another business that holds an interest in the other company, or holds an option to acquire an interest in either of the mentioned examples. Meanwhile, the UK government unveiled what it calls smarter regulation this week, essentially aiming to reduce red tape for businesses and foster a more competitive environment. Taking advantage of post-Brexit freedoms, the government will remove unnecessary red tape and regulatory burdens, ensuring rules and regulation for British businesses is proportionate and takes into consideration wide impacts on consumers, innovation, and competition, as well as direct costs, the UK government said. While Microsoft and Activision Blizzard aren't explicitly mentioned in this legislation, the new streamlined rules could potentially be good news for the two companies, although the impact of this proposal remains to be seen. Microsoft is preparing to appeal the CMA's judgment, as following the CMA's decision, it began lawyering up with some high-level legal power, adding a lawyer who had previously represented Queen Elizabeth II, Boris Johnson, and Princess Diana to its team. In other regions, the European Union issued a formal antitrust warning last year, and across the pond, the U.S. Federal Trade Commission issued a legal complaint. Former General Counsel of the FTC, Alden Abbott, has also weighed in on the CMA's decision to block the deal proceeding, saying that the body did not fully consider the facts. For more details, you can read up What's Next, Microsoft and Activision Blizzard. This sounds like the CMA is just basically throwing its weight around. I mean, they're saying now you can't even invest, you can't even acquire interest in a company or parts of a company unless we say so.
I see.
I'll read it again. The two companies will secure prior written consent from the CMA if either company invests in the other development studios, acquires an interest in another business that holds an interest in the other company, or holds an option to acquire an interest. So they can't even give money to Activision Blizzard unless the CMA says it's okay.
And that's how much power these entities have over companies, huh? That's interesting, especially in the United Kingdom.
Yeah.
Well, I have to say though that I hear conflicting stories too, where it's like, Activision Blizzard's not going through in the United Kingdom, but then it's like they'll say one thing, like I mentioned, and then the other thing, what you're saying, Triple J, is that you have to sponsor or help each other out in the sense of each other's entities. So it's kind of like, okay, so let's do it. I mean, all right.
Yeah. It's just that's weird now. That's the part that got me, where they said Microsoft can't give money to Activision Blizzard. Activision Blizzard can't give money to Microsoft for development purposes, unless we say it's okay. And you can't acquire, parts like stake in a company. One company can't acquire stake in the other company unless we say it's okay.
And that's CMA saying that.
That's the CMA, yeah.
Who are they? I mean, of course they're like a regulatory body, but still,
they're the Competition and Markets Authority in the United Kingdom.
Interesting.
But they're lawyering up people that represented Queen Elizabeth and Princess Diana. So apparently, Microsoft's got the money to spend on lawyers, and I think they're going to need the lawyers to fight this.
I think it's a few more years at best for this to go through in the United Kingdom.
Even the FTC, that guy from the FTC in America said that the CMA is not considering all the facts. So I mean, it's not like I figured the FTC and the CMA would have had the similar opinions, but it even seems like the FTC is not as being draconian as the CMA is.
Yeah, in the United States, we're more free flow with certain business interactions and stuff, but in the United Kingdom, it's kind of like opposite of that as of late.
Yeah. So we're going to read more about this later tonight. We do have more news on that. Anything else to add about this, or ready to move on?
That's about it for the time being.
Okay. Next. Is the next Call of Duty, in fact, Modern Warfare 3? Maybe, actually. Early reports suggested it was a mere expansion, but now Modern Warfare 2's follow-up might be a full-numbered sequel. With the way 2022's Modern Warfare 2's campaign ended and everything about Call of Duty's regular stream of releases, it hasn't been unreasonable to expect a follow-up game. But so far, the tea leaves on what to expect have been a little hard to read, that is, until today. According to some sources, we have the name and release date of Modern Warfare 2 22's follow-up. Call of Duty's not at all confusing practice of modern games named after titles that came out in the early 2010s would reasonably suggest that Modern Warfare 2 sequel would probably be named Modern Warfare 3. That as of late 22, Bloomberg's Jason Schreier said the next full game wouldn't hit until 2024, and that Modern Warfare 2, 2022's version, would get a shot in the arm via paid expansion developed by the folks at Sledgehammer Games. At the time, Schreier noted that it would just be more Modern Warfare 2 and not a proper sequel. Enter Insider Gaming's meaty May 11 report that actually Modern Warfare 3 is on the horizon with a full release, maybe expected as soon as the end of the year. Inside Gaming's report offers a bit from Schreier's reporting from just a few months ago. Sledgehammer Games will be making the sequel, but instead it is just being a sizable expansion. It's going to be a full-blown release. According to Inside Gaming sources, this release will land on November 10, 2023, with an early access period 8 days earlier, and 2 beta weekends on October of 2023. October 6 for PS4 and PS5, October 12 for PlayStation, Xbox, and PC. For what it's worth, these dates do historically match up with the typical Call of Duty format for releases. A few beta weekends, then a full-blown launch. The game will include a fully featured campaign, multiplayer, good old zombies, and a new Warzone 2.0 map, along with the expected seasonal mode kicking off in December of this year. There's no indication that Warzone will receive a sequel, just a new map. Las Almas, which has been rumored to be the next site of virtual war crimes since November of last year. It hasn't been easy figuring out what the next Call of Duty experience is likely to be. But if Inside Gaming sources are to be believed, we may be finding out what the hell a Makarov is. I thought it was a fish, for the record. So, what do you think about Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3, the reboot, or the definitive version, whatever you want to call it, being released as soon as at the end of this year?
Well, we were told last year, especially since last year, that we don't Call of Duty game for 2023, no matter what. And now they change it up a bit, saying that there will be a game, especially in Modern Warfare 3, 2023. So it's kind of like a catchy name for that game title for this year. So I'm like, okay, no problem. But then again, why would you lie to the public saying that, oh, we're not gonna make no more Call of Duty games for the year, and then catch up on creativity, and timing of the creativity. So it's kind of like contradicting themselves. So if the game comes out good, it comes out good. If it's not, then they should have waited another year.
Yeah. So did you finish Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2? Because I know you got it.
Yeah, I played the campaign up to the part where I had to go up against the leader of what's it called themselves, the Falcon team or the Silver team, or it's basically a team where the leader betrays Price and the rest of the group, and he has to hunt him down, assassinate him, and then in the mission at the time, I had to destroy his tank that he's in to kill us, Price and Soap and other guys in that area. So it was hard at first, but I was able to take down the leader of that team, which is called himself the Silver Team or some sort of team, whatever it's called. I'm sorry if I don't know all the details. I play it once every few weeks. Modern Warfare 2 2022, especially campaign mode. The campaign mode is not all that great, but you can follow through it sometimes here and there. But the action is great. You do stealth in a part where you have no gun or no knife, so you get acquired like resources on procure weapons on site or equipment on site. So you get the detonators, make detonators from scratch, and make sharp objects from scratch, and able to find a gun or two, throw bottles at your enemies, or throw bottles across the street, just give them their attention to that area to pass by them. So it's pretty good. Modern Warfare 2 overall campaign.
Okay. Are you going to be picking up Modern Warfare 3 if it comes out at the end of this year?
Yeah, why not? Especially if it comes around early November, early October, as always. Why not?
They said the beta test weekends will be October, and the game's expected to release in November.
Okay, so that's plenty of time for you to finish up Modern Warfare 2, 2022.
Yeah, so I mean, again, I'm not as big into Call of Duty as I used to be. I was a big fan of Black Ops and Modern Warfare 2, the originals. But then I kind of lost interest in it. So this is great for Call of Duty fans. If you were worried Modern Warfare 2 was going to be it for a while, looks like that's not the case after all.
It was all nothing but fluff at this time. Last year it was a real deal to not to have a Call of Duty game for this year, but they're not going to break that tradition because they want to make that quick sale every year as always.
Yeah. So I mean, yeah. So it sounds like it started out as an expansion, but then they said, hey, we got enough to create a full full retail release, instead of an expansion. And obviously, if it's a full retail release, they could sell it for more than they would have just sold DLCs for. So,
and I personally myself, I'm not a big Call of Duty fan, but I haven't played Call of Duty since Modern Warfare, since Black Ops 1 in 2016 when it was backwards compatible. So I've been playing that since at the time, and I got most of the Call of Duty games so far, other than Advanced Warfare, Black Ops 3, and I believe the original first 3 Call of Duty games. So.
Okay. So yeah, if you're a Call of Duty fan, that should give you some good news that at end of the year we might have Modern Warfare 3, the reboot, or the 2023 version.
Oh yeah.
Ready to move on?
Yeah, I'm ready.
All right. Next. Let me get rid of this. Okay. Mouse is a noir retro shooter inspired by classic cartoons. Fans of first-person shooters and old-timey cartoons should keep an eye on Mouse. The recently announced game slaps the classic animation of yesteryear over a retro shooter template to create an experience that's old school in more ways than one. Mouse comes from Polish indie developer Pumi Games and is billed as a North story-driven shooter about murder and deception set in a corrupt city. Players control a private detective wielding vintage firearms like a Tommy gun, revolver, and Carcano rifle to blast rather adorable rodent enemies. The game's Steam page describes Mouse as a play-your-way type of experience, emphasized by a power-up system, in which players can collect special abilities and weapon upgrades that cater to a chosen playstyle. The trailer shows the game is a very much work in progress, but it's already an eye-catcher. Mouse is rendered in a classic rubber hose animation style that defined earlier 20th century animation, which has found new life in video games such as Cuphead and Bendy and the Ink Machine. The game has no release window, but will come to PlayStation, Xbox, Switch, and PC. Should I play the teaser trailer for Mouse?
Yeah, go ahead. No problem.
All right. Gotcha. Mouse is rendered in a classic rubber hose animation style that defined earlier 20th century animation, which has found new life in video games such as Cuphead and Bendy and the What was that? The game has no release window, but will come to PlayStation, Xbox, Switch, and PC. Should I play the teaser trailer for Mouse?
Yeah, go ahead. No
Okay,
problem,
I guess
guys.
you had to go away for a couple minutes. I'll continue playing the trailer.
I'll make it in a minute, Triple J.
What was that? Hello? Okay, I guess you had to go away for a couple minutes. I'll continue playing the trailer. Alright, I'll wait for Dr. Games 101 to get back before I discuss what I think.
Okay, I'm back.
Okay, I played the trailer. Yeah, I can play it again if you want.
No, it's okay. It's good. I saw something.
From what it looks like they said, it looks like the 1930s, 1940 Mickey Mouse cartoons.
Oh yeah.
If you remember how that looked, but it's a shooter, and like you can actually blow enemies' heads off. You can punch enemies' heads off. Basically, it's. Did you ever play like any of the N64 games like Turok or GoldenEye in like pen and ink mode?
Yeah, I own Turok 1 and 2, if I remember correctly, as well as GoldenEye. I have a copy of them on the N64.
All right. Do you remember like with Game Shark, you could access pen and ink mode in those games?
I'm not sure about that part. No.
Okay. Well, pen and ink mode was basically took away all the graphics. It was just black and white. But it's kind of like that. The game has still has to be finished, but basically it's a shooter where you're blowing enemies' heads off. And it looks like it takes place in the 1930s, 1940s Mickey Mouse universe.
Mm-hmm.
There's no release date. Since I love shooters, looks like a game I'd definitely be interested in, but we don't know when it's coming out yet. Do you have anything to say?
No, that's about it for the time being.
All right, so ready to move on?
Yeah, I'm ready.
All right, next. European Commission approves Microsoft's Activision Blizzard acquisition. Following an in-depth investigation, the European Commission has approved Microsoft's proposal of Activision Blizzard. The investigation began last November with the Commission citing Microsoft's potential expansion into the cloud gaming market as a primary concern. This was just one of many roadblocks the company faced, including ongoing battles with America's Federal Trade Commission and the UK's Competition and Markets Authority, which we talked about earlier. Roughly summarized, here are the conclusions the European Commission came to as a result of their investigations. Microsoft's merger would not provide them any incentive to refuse to distribute Activision Blizzard games to Sony consoles. Even if Microsoft did withhold those games from Sony, it would not significantly harm the console market. Even prior to the merger, Activision would not make its games available on multi-game subscription services like Xbox Game Pass. If Microsoft made Activision games exclusive to their cloud service, it would harm the growth of the market by reducing competition and also improve Microsoft's position as a developer of PC operating systems. In response, Microsoft has agreed to a free license that would allow residents in the European Economic Area to use any cloud platform they want to stream all current and future Activision Blizzard games, as well as a license that allows cloud service providers to provide those services. The European Commission is quite pleased with this outcome, stating, "These commitments fully address the competition concerns identified by the Commission and represent a significant improvement for cloud gaming streaming compared to the current situation." Additionally, Activision CEO Bobby Kotick released a statement on the decision. The European Commission conducted an extremely thorough, deliberate process to gain a comprehensive understanding of gaming. As a result, they approved our merger with Microsoft, although they required stringent remedies to ensure robust competition in our rapidly growing industry. We have deep roots in Europe. Our company was founded in France. Candy Crush, one of our most successful franchises, was created in Sweden. And the senior leadership of our company comes from across the EU, including Austria, Germany, and Sweden. We intend to meaningfully expand our investment and workforce throughout the European Union, and we're excited for the benefits our transaction brings to players in Europe and around the world. The majority of the world's gamers play on mobile phones. Europe has played a pivotal role in the development of gaming, especially mobile gaming, and we expect European game developers will continue to drive growth and innovation. Our talented teams in Sweden, Spain, Germany, Romania, Poland, and many other European countries have the skills, ambition, and government support needed to compete effectively on a global scale. We expect these teams to grow and prosper given their government's firm but pragmatic approach to gaming. While this is certainly a sizable victory for the merger, it still has a long road to travel before being approved. In addition to its block in the UK, the company will have to negotiate with the FTC at a hearing in August. So do you think the merger will eventually go through?
Well, as the title of the article, it's the title of this discussion, European Commission approves Microsoft's Activision Blizzard acquisition. Well, it's kind of like a contrary to, because obviously we deal with the other company or the other entity at large in the United Kingdom, and also, so basically it's like a whole pizza being approved for everything, but one slice of pizza is rotten or it's not completely done yet. So it's kind of weird for the European Commission to go through with this, knowing that the CMA, are not necessarily going through it either. So it's like it's flip flopping. It's a conundrum, or it's more of like a gridlock. So
the CMA's reject saying no, but the same concerns that the CMA had, or cited at least, the European Commission said, based on our report, we have, we find those concerns to be unfounded. Maybe that's good news. Like I said, the more approvals they get from the different countries around the world, that's better for that's better for the merger.
Oh yeah.
They're not done with the CMA yet. The FTC is going to hear a case in August. Maybe and by, like I said, with the FTC hearing, they could just bring what the European Commission learned and say, hey, can we have a copy of that research? We need it for a court case, and against the FTC to prove our point. It's going to go through. I think it's going to end up going through in the long run, but I think it's going to be still a long and incredulous process.
It's going to be a very long process, indeed. Very tedious situation at hand too.
I just want to make sure I use that word correctly. Okay, maybe incredulous. I used that word wrong, but it's like Dr. Games 101 said, tedious. It's going to be a long process, but I think in the end result, it's going to go through.
Oh yeah.
Ready to move on?
Yeah, I'm ready.
All right. Next, Xbox Game Pass is losing these 5 games very soon. FIFA 21 will be replaced by FIFA 23. Microsoft has revealed the next batch of games that will be leaving the Game Pass library at the end of the month. In a recent Xbox news post, Microsoft confirmed that May 31st, 5 games will be leaving the service, including the 2013 strategy game Europa Universalis from Paradox Interactive and FIFA 21 for both console and PC. Evil Genius 2 World Domination, Floppy Knight, and Lawn Mowing Simulator are also among the games leaving the library, so users will have 2 weeks to go to grab them while they can. Actually, about a week and a half now. Once again, the company reminded members they can save 20% on all games when buying them and adding them to their collection permanently. The complete list of games and their platforms can be read below. I'll be covering that in a minute. Microsoft also shared the second wave of games that will be joining Game Pass this month, including FIFA 23, available now for Xbox One, Xbox Series, and PC, the day one release of Planet of Lana, the charming top-down adventure game Chicory, A Colorful Tale, and more. So leaving May 31st, Europa Universalis, exclusively for PC, Evil Genius 2 World Domination for cloud console and PC, FIFA 21 for console and PC, available through EA Play, Floppy Knights for cloud console and PC, and Lawn Mowing Simulator for cloud console and PC. We'll be getting to the games joining Game Pass next. They didn't cover it in this article like they did last time. Are you going to miss any of these 5 games, though?
I never played the FIFA games at all, and I'm not planning on playing anytime soon those FIFA games at all. To be honest with you, I'm not a big soccer fan, so that's out of the question right then and there.
That's out of the question.
As far as the other games concerned, I can always wait till they come back on the Game Pass or have another promotion on sale. Not a big fan of like looking into these games anytime soon, so I can't say much about it to begin with. So.
Yeah. Europa Universalis, that's a PC game, so I can't talk about that. Evil Genius 2, Floppy Knights, I've never played any of them. I have played a FIFA game, but that was years ago, back when I was in New York. That was like 10 years ago from now. So, I haven't played any of the recent FIFA games. And Lawn Mowing Simulator, what do you want me to say about Lawn Mowing Simulator? It says it in the title.
Hey, you're mowing lawns. That's all you do.
Yeah, you probably are a lawnmower in that game. Yeah, so I mean, if you love any of these titles, you still got a week and a half to enjoy them, or you have to buy them. But since they're leaving the service, you can save 20% if you buy them.
I'm on my own lawn when I get my own house. That's just the only time I talk about that. So.
You don't think you'll be spending money on a lawn mowing simulator?
Of course not. I'm spending money on a lawnmower and mow my own lawn.
Yeah, I got a big backyard. I can mow lawn if I want. But in all seriousness, yeah, none of these games I'm going to miss when they leave the service.
And FIFA, they cheat people out of money into because of those microtransactions. So no thank you for me.
Second wave of Xbox Game Pass May 2023 titles announced. Lace up your boots and grab some oil paints because Game Pass for May has a great selection of games lined up. The next batch of games for Xbox Game Pass has been revealed, and if you're a fan of soccer, building railway empires, and the cathenic power of art, there's a lot to look forward to. FIFA 23, EA's final FIFA-branded soccer game, kicks off today on console and PC. This footy sim will be available through EA Play, which is included with Game Pass Ultimate. While EA's run with FIFA has officially ended, the company will be back later this year with EA Sports FC, which features a similar spread of content to its work on FIFA. On May 18th, you can play as a skilled exorcist taking on evil demonic hordes in Eastern Exorcist, which will be available on Xbox One and Xbox Series. On the same day, East Punk action RPG Ghost Lore will arrive on PC. Inspired by such games as Diablo 2 and Titan Quest, this adventure mixes Southeast Asian folklore with a detailed item and character customization system procedurally generated maps, and 90s retro aesthetic. May 23rd will see a day one release for Planet of Luna on Xbox consoles and PC. In a cinematic puzzle adventure, you'll guide Lana and her companion Moy on a voyage of discovery across their planet, as it has become a battleground to hostile forces. On May 25th, Cassette Beast lands on console. Already available on PC Game Pass, Cassette Beast is all about collecting monsters and using them in turn-based battles while you explore the world around you. Yep, it has that gotta catch 'em all energy. Two more new games will be out May 25th in the form of Massive Chalice and Railway Empire 2. Massive Chalice hits cloud and console as a tactical strategy game from Brutal Legend and Psychonauts developer Double Fine. Railway Empire 2 will be available for cloud console and PC, and it tasks you with building the largest railway company in history as you learn the ropes of this business and stay a step ahead of your competition. Finally, the delightful Chicory, a colorful tale, arrives on console and PC on May 30th. Easily one of the most charming games of 2021, Chicory is a lo-fi adventure in which you restore color to the world, help your friends, and learn about the healing power of creativity. So we already talked about the games leading. So FIFA 23 is already available. So is Eastern Exorcist for Xbox One, Xbox Series, and PC. Ghost Lore for Xbox One and Xbox Series. In 3 days, we'll get Planet of Lana for Xbox One, Xbox Series, and PC. In 5 days, we'll get Cassette Beast for Xbox One, Xbox Series. Massive Chalice for Xbox One and Xbox Series and Cloud, and Railway Empire 2 for Xbox One, Xbox Series, and Cloud. And then in 10 days, we get Chicory, A Colorful Tale for Xbox One, Xbox Series, and PC. Do you have an interest in any of these games?
I already have a copy of Massive Chalice for at least God knows how many years now, and the last time I played it was at least 2 years ago. It's an okay game, a strategy game to play, but it's not my favorite thing to play, so I never really got to go back at it. But I still have it in my library. I can still play it right this second if I really want to. So it's still okay to play every now and then. The other games, FIFA 23, you already know me with that, the microtransactions and all, so I can play it the regular base game of it. But if you want to progress into the game, it's going to take forever and ever to get somewhere in that game in progress. You know, it's I hate FIFA for quite some time now. But actually, any sports game, Madden, not really NHL really, but definitely Madden and NBA, 2K games like that. Those games are sort of trying to trick people into spending more than what they have to. So
yeah. Okay. If that's it, yeah, I could care less about FIFA 23. Eastern Exorcist and Ghost Lore both sound interesting. I just want to get it. Skill in Eastern Exorcist, you play as a skilled exorcist taking on evil demonic hordes. So that's definitely up my alley. Then a role-playing game, Ghost Lore. Folklore with a detailed item and character customization system. These games that I just mentioned are already out at the time of reading this. I don't have really anything to say about the other games. They don't grab me like Eastern Exorcist and Ghost Lore did.
Okay.
But yeah, Eastern Exorcist definitely. I'm definitely interested in. Anything else to add, or ready to move on?
Yeah, ready to move on.
Okay. Next. Pac-Man 99 will shut down this October, though some game modes will still be playable offline. Okay. Nintendo Switch Online game Pac-Man 99 will be delisted on October 8th, 2023. Those who purchase mode, unlock, or deluxe pack DLC will be able to play certain modes offline even after the game's online service has shuttered. This comes by way of Nintendo, which announced an end-of-service schedule for Pac-Man 99. On August 8th, players will no longer be able to purchase custom themes. On September 8th, Mode Unlock and Deluxe Pack DLC will no longer be playable, and on October 8th, the game will no longer be available, though if you had it installed on your system, you'll be able to re-download it. After the game shuts down, the Battle Royale mode, both private and public, and the online leaderboards will not be accessible. CPU Battle, Score Attack, and Blind Time Attack will all remain playable to those who purchase Mode Unlock or Deluxe Pack DLC before September 8th. Pac-Man 99 was available at no additional cost to Nintendo Switch Online members. It's a battle royale game wherein players were tasked with eliminating other users online to be the last person standing. It received lots of support following its release in 2021, eventually becoming a robust package with plenty of content. RGT85 talked about this on YouTube. And he said, honestly, how much money could it really be costing Nintendo to keep this game going? I just don't understand why Nintendo does this. They did it with Super Mario 30, and now they're doing it to Pac-Man 99. What do you think of this?
Well, I mean, they should have kept Nintendo should have kept on to that Mario Battle Royale game back many years ago, like 2017, 2018, 2019, and it canceled that in 2021, 2020, I believe. So that sucks right there. 'Cause I really want to play that game myself, even though I don't have a Switch yet. But this Pac-Man 99, I never heard of until right now, or at least this week when we talked about it beforehand. Um, I mean, Pac-Man 99, I thought it's like that's a Battle Royale game you mentioned, right? Right, Triple J?
Yep.
Oh wow, that's interesting. All right, is it like actual like Pac-Man game, or it's like a different like you fight?
No, it's regular Pac-Man, but they were like they were the four ghosts that everyone knows of, and then there were like these small ghosts. I guess they were other players that got cornered by ghosts and eaten or whatever.
I see something like elimination battle royale.
Yeah.
Okay, not bad.
I'm guessing I don't have a Switch, so I never played it. But these were free games that Nintendo had created with their properties, and now they're delisting them for what?
Probably because it's not making enough money off of them because it's free, technically speaking.
Yeah, but at the same time, how much could you charge for these games? Pac-Man 99? 1999 was the year I graduated from elementary school.
Oh, yeah.
That's the year I graduated from 6th grade. I mean, so yeah, unfortunately, if you don't have it, get it before they shut it down. I know they said October 8th is the final game, but they're going to be killing services up leading to October 8th. So, definitely get everything before August if you want to have it. If you want to be able to play the single player mode once it's offline.
Right.
Ready to move on?
I'm ready.
All right. Next. 3 Super Mario Game Boy Advance games hit Nintendo Switch Online next week. The Game Boy Advance library of Nintendo Switch Online expansion pack is getting a Mario-infused shot in the arm with the addition of 3 Super Mario Advance titles. On May 26, Super Mario Advance, Super Mario World, Super Mario Advance 2, and Yoshi's Island, Super Mario Advance 3, hit the service. First released throughout the early 2000s, these games are enhanced portable remakes of Super Mario Bros. 2, Super Mario World, and Super Mario World 2, Yoshi's Island, respectively. Although the original versions of each game are already available in the NES, SNES libraries, the Advance series features several tweaks, such as Advance 2 giving Luigi his Super Mario Bros. 2 jump. These join Super Mario Advance 4, Super Mario Bros. 3, which was in the initial batch of GBA titles, to complete the series. As a reminder, the Game Boy Advance library is part of the expansion pack tier, the prior-to-year upgraded version of the Nintendo Switch Online. You can keep up with every game on Nintendo Switch Online by visiting our complete library database. Did you ever play the Super Mario Advance games on Game Boy Advance?
Not that I'm aware of, no. I missed on the Game Boy Advance. After I got the Game Boy Color, I stopped keeping track of the Game Boy games or let alone the portable Nintendo gaming systems.
Okay. I was a big fan of I do like the Super Mario games because what it does, it's basically a way to play some of the best Super Mario games on the go.
Oh yeah.
I did play Super Mario Advance, the first, which is Super Mario Brothers 2. Super Mario World or Yoshi's Island, I never played the Game Boy Advance ports. I never played Super Mario Brothers Advance 4, which is a remake of Super Mario Brothers 3. So I've only played the first one. But yeah, these titles are beautiful. And it's a great and if you had a Game Boy Advance or Nintendo DS, as I have a DS Lite, it was a great way to play. If you wanted to play it was a great way to play Mario home console games on the go. Because you didn't feel like you were sacrificing much, if anything.
Right.
But now if you're Nintendo Switch Online, if you pay for the Game Boy Advance games, all 4 Super Mario Advance games are on the service,
Okay.
or will be on the service. Anything else to add, or ready to move on?
That would most certainly definitely increase some sort of sales with the game, this Nintendo Switch and all, if I remember correctly. So it's gonna be interesting moment for Nintendo to put these games out. Because I, for one,
Yeah, I might actually pick up a few of those GBA cartridges just to have.
Yeah, at one point I bought another Game Boy Color system for about $30 before the price was started to go catastrophically crazy. And that was back like 10 years ago, not 7 years ago. After Assistant, the price keeps going up and up. The Game Boy Color. So I read this about the Nintendo's Game Boy Advance SP, where it has the highlighted lights and all, and I just
Right.
like that's like $200 brand new. So I was like, why not buy it one day, hopefully. So
Yeah, so I mean, yeah, but the DS Lite plays Nintendo DS and Game Boy Advance games, so
okay,
maybe that'll be more economically affordable.
oh, yeah,
But yeah, the Super Mario Advance games, nothing wrong. Although I don't think the warp zones in Super Mario 2 work. Either that, or I have forgotten, because Alex Navarro, when he played Super Mario Brothers 2
mm-hmm.
on Giant Bomb website, he explained where the first warp zone was, and I tried it out myself, and it took me from World 1 to World 4. So it was like, wow. But I tried it on Super Mario Advance, and it didn't work. So either I had the warp zone in the wrong place, or the warp zone just doesn't exist.
Okay, for games like Super Mario Brothers 3 on the Super Nintendo now, yeah, Super Nintendo version of Super Mario Brothers 3, I went from World 2 or 3 to World 8 one time, and I saved on it for many years. But then as of like 2011, 2012, the file got deleted. I'm like, how that got deleted overnight?
Yeah, really.
Yeah, I was on World 8 for a very long time trying to beat the world, but unfortunately it didn't go as well with the memory of the cartridge and all. So, still have the cartridge to this day. I'm still stuck on World 3 or 4, but still. But
Is this Super Mario 3 or Super Mario World?
Super Mario 3.
Okay. Yeah. Last time I played that, I think I just got into World 4.
Mm-hmm.
The world where everything is huge.
The giant world.
Yeah. Yeah, so like I said, these games, they were great to play the Mario games on the go. Now, if you have a Switch, you can play them at home anytime you want, as long as you pay the upgrade for the upgraded service.
Yeah. Remember we did record on Daily Motion many years ago together on our on my Super Nintendo game, All Star Brothers. That was pretty cool.
I remember me beating every level, and he beats the castle, so he gets the special item.
Yeah.
And then Dr. Games 101 says to me, "See, I beat the castle. I at least helped." I go, "Yeah, you're just neglecting to mention who beat every level before the castle."
Hey, it's a big boss.
And then you got the special item for beating the castle.
Hey, we started to work together with the last level of every world though with the ship and all. So
Yeah, yeah. So we only got to like I think World 3 in that game
if not
together.
World 4, yeah.
I don't remember World 4 because, like I said, World 4 is my favorite. Yeah, we had trouble in the water level,
Yep.
the water world, which is World 3. Yeah. So anything else to add, or ready to move on?
Yeah, let's go. Let's move on.
All right. Next. Xbox might offer timed slices of games or games with ads. Microsoft's Sarah Bond discussed new business models the company is looking at beyond Xbox Game Pass. Sarah Bond, the corporate vice president for games at Microsoft, revealed that Xbox is looking into other gaming models such as time slices with games or by putting ads in games. In an interview with Rolling Stone UK, Bond was asked how developers could see success on Xbox. She said Game Pass is an option for developers, then explained how Game Pass is just one of many business models by saying you have pay to play, then there was free to play, and then we introduced Game Pass. Bond says Xbox is looking into other strategies too. We've talked about how we're experimenting with other models, like what does it mean for advertising in games, which is more prevalent in mobile. Are there models of that work well in PC and console? Are there other models where you might have time slices of games and stuff like that? Providing creators with options and choice enables them to experiment and do what they like and actually create more immersive and creative experiences without having to fit into a mold. It's also worth mentioning that Xbox does have another model that doesn't revolve around Game Pass, but both require you to have a gold membership. One is called Games with Gold, giving gold members 2 games per month, which they can keep as long as they have an active gold membership. In addition to that, there are also free play days, which allow gold members to play selected games for a couple of days. For more Xbox news, check out how Microsoft and Activision Blizzard are facing even more restrictions from UK regulatory and how at least one developer felt Xbox Game Pass hurt sales. We covered those stories already. So what do you think about time slices of games or games with ads? If you had your choice, which one would you choose for Xbox to go ahead with?
How does time slices work? Basically, you just play them for like 3 minutes at a time?
If it's what I think, time slices, you would get to play the game for a certain amount of time, but you would once you played like that, once you played, it'd be like those PlayStation demos that we got when the PlayStation first came out.
Oh,
you could play 15, 20 minutes, and the game, and then like once you got to a certain part or played for a certain amount of time, the game would cut off, and you could play again from the beginning and try to get a little bit further before that time limit ran out, or you might only have a certain number of times you could do that. They did that with A Plague Tale Innocence, but yeah, I think that's how it would work, or they put ads in games.
That's a bad idea because we pay for gold memberships, we pay for the Game Pass, we pay for Ultimate Pass. So if it was a silver membership, or you never paid any of these services, you get advertisements no matter what, obviously. But if you pay for the service to play online with no ads, no nothing, why should that be in my video games? That don't make any sense.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I don't
yeah.
want advertisements in games because God knows what advertisements we would see. And the frequency that we would see them. But you know what? The time slices theory, I wouldn't actually have a problem with that because I don't know if you remember the PlayStation demos that we had like in '99 and 2000 when games like Spyro. Okay, so you have played the demos in the past.
I still got my demo disc to this day, both PS1 and PS2. About a couple of them.
Okay, yeah, I still got one or two somewhat. I still got one or two. One's for sale, I think, in the store. But yeah, time slices or do what A Plague Tale Innocence did. Plague Tale Innocence, I just found it because I was looking for free games. A Plague Tale Innocence gave you the first chapter for free, and you could play it like up to 5 or 6 times. and then once you beat it, it gave you a little trailer of what to expect. And I was, like I said, after the first chapter, I was hooked, and I ended up buying the game for. It was out for a while, so I didn't have to pay full price on it. But yeah, I mean, I would prefer the time slices if I had to pick one as a consumer.
But the advertisements are no, especially if you pay for it every month to play online. That's stupid right there for Microsoft to do that to me as a gamer. Like, I understand advertisements are everywhere: TV, computers, the websites, and all. And eventually, ad blockers are going to be no more on the internet, most likely, because companies get tired of this blockage and stuff of their advertisements. But in the end, it's like, gaming, it's like, okay, you pay for the product, right? You pay for the copy of the game. You pay for the accessories. You pay for the systems. You pay for the controllers. Everything else. But you tell me you're going to put advertisements on my games. Eventually, I'm not going to pay for gold or silver or whatever comes first, because it's a waste of time. I mean, I'll probably stick with my silver membership after this upcoming September when it expires, my gold membership and all. So forget about that after a while if they're gonna do this,
Yeah, I'm going to keep my Game Pass membership as long as I can, which will probably be a while since, I started a job, not this past week, the week before. But yeah, if I had to choose one, I hope if anyone ever did hear this that works at Xbox, I would hope that they would go with the time slices thing, because that would be a thing, like harkening back, going back to those PlayStation demos that we had.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Do the thug shake, Milf Wife said.
The thug shake, okay.
Yeah. Okay. Anyway, yeah. So I mean, like I said, if developers are upset with Game Pass, do what they did with the Plague Tale Innocence. Give us the first chapter for free. And then if we like the game, we have to go buy it.
Oh yeah, definitely.
I don't see what the problem with that would be. Ready to move on, or?
Yeah, ready.
All right. We only got a couple more stories left. Payday 3. Release date, gameplay, and everything we know. Developer Starbreeze hasn't shared too many details yet on Payday 3, but we have gathered some fascinating intel on the game since it was first revealed. After years of secrecy and at least one police raid during dire times for developer Starbreeze, a new Payday game is almost here. Payday 3 is coming soon according to Starbreeze, but for now, the studio is keeping info on the game locked up tighter than a lost mouse in the Fort Knox gold deposit vault. While we're not quite ready to do a snazzy suit clown mask and pull off the information-based heist of the century, we can look at everything that we know so far about the game and how it's shaping up. Release date. For now, Payday 3 is aiming to arrive in 2023. 10 years after Payday 2 first launched. Trouble and a comeback at Starbreeze. The game has been in development for years and has survived a turbulent period at Starbreeze, as the Stockholm-based studio was on the brink of bankruptcy after Overkill's The Walking Dead emerged as a financially and critically disastrous game, and accusations of insider trading resulted in a police raid, although former Chief Financial Officer Sebastian Ashkog was acquitted of these charges. After a period of reconstruction that gave it the chance to pay off its debt and once again become profitable, largely thanks to Payday 2, Starbreeze was in a much healthier financial state. In March 2021, Starbreeze signed a $54 million publishing deal with Coke Media to assist in financing Payday 3's development, publishing, and post-launch support plans. Platforms. Payday 3 will launch for a wide number of systems, including PS5, PS4, Xbox Series, and Xbox One. Starbreeze says that the game is identical on PC and consoles, thanks to it being made in the Unreal Engine. When will more Payday 3 news be revealed? This is a logo reveal for... we can still watch it on YouTube after I'm done with this. A recent and extremely short teaser trailer has confirmed that a Payday 3 gameplay reveal is coming this summer, and that's it. No exact date, mention of a live stream platform, or even a glimpse of Jeff Keighley standing in a corner with the Summer Games Fest contract, but a shadowy figure telling you it's time for a new job. Starbreeze boss Tobias Sjogren has also said in an interview that he feels the pressure to deliver with the sequel, especially given that the franchise has reached millions of people over the years. Payday 3 storyline. As part of the franchise's 10th anniversary in 2021, game director Eric Wanavy shared a few more details on the storyline for Payday 3. The threequel is a soft reboot of the series and takes place several years after Payday 2. Dallas, Hoxton Chains, and Wolf are back in action, and this time they'll be pulling off heist in a version of New York City while also dealing with cryptocurrency, mass surveillance, and dark web themes. Payday 3 gameplay. Gameplay for Payday 3 hasn't surfaced yet, but if it's anything like the previous games, expect the sequel to evolve the best format mode popular by its predecessors. A first-person team-based shooter in which you pull off heist. Payday 3 will likely continue the themes of perfect execution of a plan and adapting your tactics when things inevitably go wrong. Catching up on Payday. If you're new to the series and want to get better acquainted with it, you can watch a 4-part docuseries that was released to celebrate Payday's 10th anniversary. You can watch each installment for free on YouTube through the links below. So what do you think of Payday 3 coming out?
Well, Payday 3, I've just played more of a Payday 2 yet.
Yeah, we talked about that saying we should do that together because it's Payday 2 is just not that much fun if you're playing with AI players.
Yeah, I only played the tutorial so far at Payday 2, so kind of cheap.
Was that the jewelry store heist?
No, it's the preparation for like a heist. Get the bag, get the money, and go down the stairs, some shit like that.
I did a jewelry store heist when I tried it out. That's how I realized. That's when I found out the AI players. Yeah, they shoot at cops, but they don't help you with the actual heist itself.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know if Payday 3 could address those problems or not. But
let's hope so.
Yeah. I just don't know if it's a problem the Payday developers can fix. You know, it's AI after all.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, so Payday 3 is coming out. It's going to take place in like current day New York City, which is sounds like a great location for it, to be honest. But yeah, so that's all we know about Payday 3 so far. But they are working on it. They've been working on it for years, and they plan for it to come out sometime this year.
Okay, that's good.
Ready to move on to the final story?
Yeah, why not?
All right. Next, or last, if you prefer, China approves Microsoft's acquisition of Activision Blizzard. 37 total regulators have voiced approval thus far. China's state administration has approved Microsoft's attempted $69 billion acquisition of Activision Blizzard, joining a total of 37 regulators, including the European Union and Japan. The news was first surfaced today on Seeking Alpha via a deal reporter item, has since been confirmed via a statement from a Microsoft spokesperson sent to IGN. China's unconditional clearance of our acquisition of Activision Blizzard follows clearance decisions from jurisdictions such as the European Union and Japan, bringing the total of 37 countries representing more than 2 billion people. The acquisition, combined with our recent commitments to the European Commission, will empower consumers worldwide to play more games on more devices. This news comes just a few days after the European Commission approved the deal in the European Union. The one opposing voice thus far remains the UK's Competition and Markets Authority, which blocked the deal on the basis of its potential to let Microsoft monopolize a nascent cloud gaming market. Microsoft has stated its intent to appeal the UK's decision. The deal has yet to be approved in the US, where the Federal Trade Commission is prepared to sort out its ruling in court this August, and legal experts we spoke to are divided as to which the decision will ultimately fall. So what do you think of China basically approving the Activision Blizzard acquisition?
that is of no surprise because China is more towards pro-business, regardless of the censorship or
Yes,
pro-communism they've been promoted for many decades so far. And it's to the point where
coming.
it's to the
I'll
point.
be,
Go on.
if you just hold on, I'll be back.
Yeah, sure.
I'll be back. I hate this shit.
Yeah, guys, and that's just what's going on with China and all. China's been in business. It's pro-business in the area. Yes, they control most of the assets or most of the operations with that business. It's like a contract based on only about 99 years or some of that sort. So basically, it's kind of like like to be very controlling. And that's a trade-off. So other countries, they're more like not lax, but they like have their own little regulatory matters. The United States, obviously, if you have the bigger the company, the better your chances are with deals going through. So that's a good thing. So China and the United States are like bumping heads competition wise with these deals going on. So that's pretty good, especially with Activision Blizzard. In the meantime, I'm gonna play some good old music on my end. Be sure to listen in the meantime. よし決めたお前の名前はチーだ分かったなチ相手がパソコンだぜ好きになるなんてそんなことめちゃくちゃ可愛いけどGet ready! Check it
Yeah. Just another day. If not now, then when? Crying is a waste of time. Fuck it. It's a lot in the world stopping us from being one. If you wanna live it up, and you gotta give it up. I know you've been feeling down, but the world ain't where it's at. Maybe we can have fun, we could be the perfect match. Got a world on my own that you can have to yourself. Give up everything you know, girl. A mission is a gift. Call me someone, Dalai Lama, show you how to be more. And I swear I'm understanding like a big, big brother. I'm your kind, I'm your mind. No one's perfect, but let's try. Let me see into your deep until you never cry. Be that needle of your eye if those never dry. Confused and deluded at the 5-star show. Bitch, I'm black back trash long as I'm on the globe. People calling me strange, I swear this shit is not a game. If they read between the lines, I swear that they will want to change. Tell a lot dead to my eye, but it's still okay behind the bullets and the gears. You can tell love live. Why you wanna be so sad, baby? All those feelings real, girl. Just hand yourself over. I swear that you won't get killed. On the road, on my own, kind nobody seem to care. Fuck the city, girl, my garbage dump could feed the whole world. Never learn not to fall in love. Bottomless pit, that's all you gotta do. Love me if you could exist. And it's trash over. Class, this be for them garbage pickers. Heard you starving on that nigga with them leftovers for dinner. 2D dreaming, got us scheming, plotting on some mythological. We all get a turn around. You wasn't down, don't even try. You ain't got no reason to cry. Those lies you tell yourself inside. Don't be fooled, we're still alive. Before you live, you have to die. Yeah, yeah. Okay. It's a lot in the world stopping us from being one. If you wanna live it up, and you gotta give it up. I know you've been feeling down, but the world ain't where it's at. Baby, we can have fun, we could be the perfect match. Got a world on my own that you can have to yourself. Give up everything you know, girl. The mission is a gift. Call me someone, Dalai Lama, show you how to be more. And I swear I'm understanding like a big, big brother. I'm your kind, I'm your mind. No one's perfect, but let's try. Let me see into your deep until you never cry. Be that needle of your eye if those never dry. Confused and deluded at the 5-star show. Bitch,
Okay, I'm back.
I'm on the globe.
All right, no problem.
All right, sorry about that interruption. Of course, it always happens when my mother's home while I'm doing these podcasts. Anyway, so China accepts Microsoft's the acquisition to buy Activision Blizzard. What do you have any thoughts of this? Because you said.
Yeah, while you were gone for a minute or two, I talked for the first minute during that time of silence, and I mentioned that China is like a pro-business aspect of their country, even though they control like the nitty-gritty, the everyday operations of each company that comes into their nation. You still have freedom and access to make as much money as you want with them. So even though they have like a 99-year or 100-year contracts to have a business in China, you can make as much money as you want and keep the profits to yourself or get a cut of it, at least that. So that's a good thing on China's end. So no matter how big the business are, the bigger the business, the more likely they'll accept your operations in their country. So that's a good thing, for what I hear. So.
Yeah. So I mean, with China accepting it, like it says, European Union accepted it, Japan accepted it. So basically, it's the UK and the United States, and the United States is still so-so on whether or not they will accept it until that trial date in August. But like I said,
if I mention that trial date in August, so the United States' FTC basically is still holding back on that Activision Blizzard deal to this day.
Yeah, they're basically they said they're going to release it. There's going to be a trial date in August, and that's when the FTC will make their decision, I guess, after that trial date.
Okay, no problem. I hope it will go through.
Yeah, right now it's 50-50, depending who you speak to. On the United States part, like I said, they're hiring lawyers in Europe, or the United Kingdom rather, to oppose the CMA.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so basically, I just really don't see what the CMA's big problem is when the European Union said, those concerns which the United Kingdom had were basically found to be non-existent. And now Japan's on board, China's on board. They said 37 regulators are on board So yeah, as far as I can tell, it's just the UK and the US. The only two yeses Microsoft needs now.
Mm-hmm.
So that's basically the whole story up to this point.
Yeah, for the time being.
Yep. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed this. This was the Let's Discuss Gaming podcast. Our next podcast will be 2 Saturdays from tonight. That's on June 3rd and starting at 9 p.m. Eastern Time. As far as tomorrow, I'm probably going to do some recorded gameplay tonight after I finish tonight's stream, and then maybe get back to streaming tomorrow. I do want to. I haven't been on Twitch except for these podcasts. I do want to get back to that, but sometimes some nights after work, I'm just so tired that I can't do it. But I definitely want to take advantage of the weekend again.
Yeah,
so
it comes first, of course. Where I play later.
Yep, but like I said, I get off work at 6. But then again, if I didn't get much sleep the night before, I end up basically sleeping the whole night after dinner. But anyway, I'm off tomorrow. I do got a couple errands I got to run. But other than that, some of it's I'm probably going to put off. At least I get paid, which won't be till Monday or Tuesday. So yeah, Sunday most of the day is going to be free. Maybe and I'll do a stream, or maybe I'll just get back to recording gameplay in general and put it on BitChute and Rumble. What about you, Dr. Games 101? Do you have any plans for tomorrow?
I might play more of certain other games like First Templar, Street Fighter 4, definitely Mortal Kombat 11 sometime later this month. I'll try to make a time to record that. Also, continue doing Proteus. I completed the first level of my first recording back last year, or earlier this year to be more exact. Personally, myself, I've been busy with online gaming tournaments and doing errands for my health and all, because my health is currently in. It's not bad, but it's definitely not good at the same time. But as long as I maintain my health and eat the right foods, I should be fine for the time being. We are getting older, at least I'm getting older, and I have to take care more of my health than ever, than doing a lot of recording. So I'm not at school anymore for the time being, so I should have more free time than ever, but then I have other days popping up unexpectedly, so hopefully I'll do more gameplay with you guys with these games I mentioned over the next week or so.
Yeah, I just want to mention, I've been thinking about it, Total Extreme Wrestling 2020, unless I start a new series, that's probably going to still stay a Twitch exclusive, just when I stream it, because I didn't save the previous streams when I did it. So, but at the same time, it was meant to be a Twitch exclusive when I started the WWF save anyway. So, yeah, so that's probably going to stay a Twitch exclusive. But if I go back to recorded gameplay, that could be on BitChute or Rumble if it's not coming up on Twitch. It's basically going to be when I can do it and what options I have available at the time.
Right.
Until then, until next time, good night, everyone.
Goodbye, people.